Good morning. My name is Tumi Tladi, and this is second session that I'm doing today, Tuesday, 29th of June, 2021. So, this is video number 26. Yes, and previously, please, before you can watch this video in detail before, please go invest your time in the previous video number 25, where I was looking at this external service called PayFast. It's an incredible system that you can integrate, or service you can integrate in your system. So it's incredible. So we just covered the service. We went into the dashboard. We look at the payments, the recent transactions, and how do you generate the pay now buttons, blah 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 blah. But do your own research first. Okay, so let's carry on. Now I'm gonna do something interesting still regarding PayFast. So it's like this is a series from number 20 when we start registering 2 new users, YouTube_user and YouTube_admin. Now the second account I haven't done much. I've been using this one, YouTube_user. So we've been saying that for the very first time, these people, which are my clients, they are their business or store owners, they will need to pay me 30 Rand first for them to have their account operational, or for them to do business with me. So that's when I invented the feature called subscription. So I'm only gonna do this, but let's start with the code on how this actually works. So this is a project ASP.NET MVC targeting.NET framework. So let's go quickly to controllers, and we know we need to go to MVC. We're gonna go to account controller. Yeah, but this is part of the login. Seems like I still need to do the login. Yeah, because I intended to do login, like what happens when you click the button, because a lot happens when you click the button. So I'm only gonna give the high level overview that for the very first time, the system knows, having to check what's in the database, that, yeah, let me just cover this portion and I'll do the entire login because it's quite complex. Yeah, it's not a simple username and password and then that's it. It's quite complex actually behind the scenes. So while we are waiting for Visual Studio to wake up, because I think it's been 2 hours now since I haven't been doing anything on it, because it's been running in idle mode, because this is a thing that it keeps on doing. I don't know why, but let's give it a few seconds or a few minutes. So subscription as a developer, because when I thought about what if these people, the business or store owners, they need to pay me, I will need to do something, right? I will need to find a service that will handle the payments. I did find it, which is PayFast, right? And then there we go. Please Visual Studio, please, I'm being patient, please. Yes, okay. And then, but what about how do we keep track of this? Like the subscription itself, how long is it supposed to last? Like 5 days, 7 days, a week? What about a month? So that means that speaks a language of a database. We need a table in database. And but how are we gonna know who the person is? And how are we gonna control for which business? And then there might be a bug, because I intended to do an extensive video right now. There might be a bug that I was thinking about a few minutes before I started recording. There might be a bug. So if you follow along, you will understand that these features that you come up with, the level of insanity, it's not that simple from the logical point of view to a technical point of view. Logically, oh no, I want to, people that every 30 days they pay me 30 Rand using PayFast. Yes, I want to know if they are the first timers. But what happens when the 30 days has, disappeared, elapsed, gone? What then, technically? So now let me go to login. Visual Studio. Yeah, that's exactly what I was afraid of. So, and then not just the database table, but how you gonna implement that table in production. What are the certain things you're gonna be, certain operations you're gonna be disturbing, because we're talking about a production database or database in production. And then how you gonna keep track of these things, Speaking of that, this is a perfect opportunity while this thing spins. Let's launch the admin portal. Yes, I think soon I'm gonna do a video where I debug why my administrative account doesn't want to work here, but it works this side. And this is .NET Core. Like we've been talking about this thing, I think from video number 0 or video number 1 or video number, I can't remember, but the point is we've been talking about there is a bug that I know for sure. So let's give this guy a second to spin. Let's go to login. There we go. Because then when you, like I said, when you put together this kind of feature, you need to be able to keep track of what's happening. And then I will show you that this account, it's for a normal user, right? Which is YouTube user, a first timer. But there's also an account that I know for sure, I think test number 2, that the subscription has ended. This one is for the very first time. But there's one that also I know that the subscription has ended. Okay. So while this guy is spinning, I don't know why it's taking this long. Okay, so login. No, something's not right here. This thing was just, it can't be Firefox, what's happening? Okay, let me close the work I've been doing. I'll come back to it. That's my actual work. Okay, because this guy cannot be jumping that high. Nevertheless, no, I don't want this account. I want a different account. Wait. This is one of the videos that I get excited about because I spend a lot of time putting together this part of functionality. Wait, let's see if it's success, and then we're gonna save it so I don't have to do this next time. Yes, it's success. Okay, now, so let me go to task. You are familiar with this link. It's only for administrators. And then you'll see that I have my own built-in navigation bar. I call it operations, like which operation do I need to do. One of them is subscription, so we're gonna come to this guy in a second. But I need to start with the Visual Studio first. Okay, this is pretty much better. But Firefox is still... Okay, so login. I'm not gonna go in detail, like I intend to do this in detail, but not now. But there's something that happens here that's very interesting. There we go. If the credentials are successful based on the username and now the password. Wait, here it is. Username and the password. If all of this is success, which is now the switch statement, I have the case sign in is success. I do a lot of things. Hence I said I want to do a special video about what happens when you click the button login. There's a lot of things that actually happen. And then this is also an opportunity that how do you control authentication and then control authorization? Okay, if someone is authenticated, how do you control authorization, what they should be allowed to do? So now, if it's a success, let's look at the second case first. But I don't care about these other cases. Like I said, I'll cover this extensively when I do login page. But I want to focus on one thing. If it's success, then I'm going to come to if now they're not administrator, okay? And then else if, that means it's a regular user. If is subscription active? I'm asking the question, so it returns a boolean, and then I'm passing in the ID of the user who's currently logged in. So I'm asking the question first that, you see, it's a task, asynchronous, it returns a boolean, and then it takes in the user ID. So I'm asking, is the subscription active for this user? So we need to go to this method. Why am I treading carefully? Because this thing is weird and funny. There we go. Is subscription active? Cool. So it's one of the helper methods. It's a private async. Okay, so what happens, like I said, it's a very complex thing. So then I'm saying, okay, we're gonna return is subscription active. By default, this variable is false. Okay, that's why we're gonna return the state. You know, is it true or false? Oh, this Visual Studio. Yesterday it was working perfectly. Today, I don't know. Okay, nevertheless, now, because you do know that I do have a private read-only for application DB context, right? Yes, it's at the top, right? So then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna create a local variable called subscription, because that's an object name that I'm expecting to be returned. Yo, this computer is slow. I've watched a lot of videos where computers, you know, were slow, and then those guys will say, no, let's refresh this, it'll be okay, you know, it'll be okay. Yes, let's keep on refreshing it. I don't want to use Azure DevOps because I want to easily navigate. I want the power of Visual Studio. Okay. No, my PC cannot be this slow. No. Nevertheless, so if I hover, this is an object, like it's an entity data model. This is an actual table that I'm expecting to be returned. You never see me writing sub or user. I want the actual name, because when I read my own code, it should make sense. So then I'm saying, let's go now, application DB context. You have access to all the properties that I'm making up or database tables. There you go, you can see, right? Then I'm saying, now first our default async. While I'm here, let me take an opportunity to give somebody a heads up. You can use where, the where method. There's nothing wrong with it. But the where has its own, like, there's a specific context in which it's going to function perfectly. It can work in here, but there's a specific context. In this current context, first or default is exactly what I want. I did take a look at the difference between single or default. Single, I don't want single. I want first or default. Well, but we can debate about single or default, or first or default, but I prefer to use it first or default. So I began to rewrite my code to remove where to have first or default. Okay, now, and then it's asynchronous version. So I did explain this object, right? But let me do that again, because like I said, I'm excited about this part of the video. So tables, and then let's go to general. We'll find this subscriptions. So basically I have subscription underscore ID. It's a primary key. I have is active. It's a boolean value. Is it active? I have when was it created on of type datetime. I have is active until when of type datetime, and then I have for which business. So this is a foreign key for this object. So now you understand. So by default, it's gonna have is active to be true, created on at that particular moment, and then adding the next 30 days from that moment. Okay, so now you understand this data entity model. Okay, so I'm saying, please let's go and check if is active is true, and if the business ID, or rather, if the ID, okay, because this is a navigation property, inside here is another navigation property for application user, this guy. Okay, let me do this. I like to explain, so that the things can make sense. Give this guy a second to spin. Is it spinning? Okay, for some reason. Businesses, it has its own foreign key for the user. Here it is for application user. So in this current context, if you see ID, I want the user ID for this business to check that, hey, you who logged in, do you own any of the businesses? So if this guy comes in as I don't know that, and then it's going to become null, but I'm checking. If it's not null, then the subscription is active. But if it's not, we're going to check for subscription. Now we're going to call another method. But either way, we still want to check for subscription. But we still need the state before we can return everything back. Okay, so now it's going to return as null. It's going to skip this guy. It's still going to be false. Subscription is not active. And we're going to check for subscription. Now for subscription, I have another helper method. I've been taught something, not CUT did not teach me this, but we've been taught that a method should do one thing only. So, and a method name should be descriptive enough for the next programmer to be able to understand what on earth we were doing. So this one now we are checking for subscription. So we know we don't have any active subscription. Now we're going to check for subscriptions. Still private async, it's asynchronous method. Now, I'm not returning anything. So this is what I'm doing. So now I have subscriptions. Still, give me access to that guy, but I have subscriptions. Okay, so this one it's still one, but subscriptions. No, it's a list actually. Sorry, it's a list because I have a to list. That's why I appended s at the end. It's not one, but it's a list. Yes, there we go. Hover. I'm returning a list of subscriptions. Okay, so I'm saying now this is now the where comes in. Now, well, in my case, but we can debate about this. We can help each other. What I'm saying, okay, let's go and check if all the go to this table, look for anything that's active. Give me a list of all the subscriptions that are active. Give me that list. Okay, in the meantime, let's log in as the administrator. We are logged in. Let me show you when I talk about the table and database, like what do I mean? I need to know why is this guy want me to authenticate myself again. Is this a bug? But I was just authenticated just now. So why? Is it the goodness of .NET Core? Maybe. Because that would be fantastic. Okay, so back to Visual Studio. Here I'm saying give me all or any subscription that's active. No, actually give me all of the subscriptions that are active. And then we will know that based on is active. Give me 1, 2, 3, skip this, skip that, give me that, skip this, give me that, and page 2 and so forth. Now you understand, right? So when we are done, and then we're gonna do if statement. If this guy is not null, that means we found at least one. If it's not null, okay, then we're gonna, now I'm gonna have a current date. It's a local variable from the current date. Not just the entire date and time, but only date part of it. Like give me the current date, which is 29 June 2021. Give me the date, put it here. And then we're gonna loop inside the list of those subscriptions that are active. And we're gonna say if the current date 29 is greater than is active until getting the date. Remember, this is a datetime object, or the type is of datetime. So given the date, if 29 is greater than that one, and the current date, it's not today's date, because this has to be greater, and then it should not be today's date. So meaning that one of them, remember this is for each, one of them, let's use example for this one, is true. Why is it true and still, oh, it was created on, okay, I don't care about this. This is what I care about. Now this one, this is the first object of subscription. So we are saying, is 29 greater than 31 August? That's the first part of the if statement, right? That's what we are checking. And we are saying, is 29 not the current date that we found there is active until, which is 31? No, it's not, right? It's not. So then, wait, it is greater. No, it's not greater. No, wait, it's not greater. So this guy is false and this guy is true, right? Yes, this is true, it's not. This guy, is it greater? No, it's not. So if any of them is false, then this whole thing is false. It's gonna skip this. Do you understand this part? So we are skipping this part. We are skipping it. And then we're going back to this guy where we return false, going back to the method, and then let's go back to login. And here we are, and then we have a false. So this guy is gonna be false. That means it won't get inside. It's gonna be false. It won't get inside. But where is it gonna go? It's gonna come to else. So the else part. Now it's gonna check again. Do you have a partial access rule? No, because I know this one. Like I said, I'll talk about this. Then firstly, log the user out. And then when you're done, redirect them to a subscription page. This is the guy. The most important thing is log the user out. That's the most important thing. So let's do this in live. So this is YouTube_user. If I log in, you see this person won't be logged in, they're gonna be logged out, but their credentials are correct. But based on the number of checks I have in place, we are logging them out and we are redirecting them here. So this is the first part, where it says, it looks like you do not have any active subscription, and it says it looks like you never used this platform before, but we are glad that this will be your very first subscription to active. So we did this in the previous video. You click here, you're gonna pay, right click in the new tab just to remind somebody, and then I put a nice icon there. This font awesome, we did cover font awesome icons. That's a font awesome, cool. So this is what happens. You're gonna, yes, it's me, you're just gonna click any of your preferred, juice, and then you're just gonna pay me, and then it'll be well. Good. Now obviously I'll be notified, I'll get notified that, oh no, you paid. But I think I mentioned something about the bug. So if this person pays, for which business are they paying for? Because they haven't added the business. Interesting. But then again, let's finish this page. What is this page all about? How does it look like? Because it seems like it expects the user ID. So let's go to subscription controller. We'll come back. So I don't need DAL anymore. Controllers, I'm still in MVC. For clients, yes. And then we need general subscription controller. Here it is. I don't know why it's inside clients, but it's fine. So here, what we are doing, because you better believe that this is the controller that was triggered. So as usual, my global variable to talk to a database, and I had the very first HTTP GET. This is the guy that fired, and you see it expects string user ID. So that's the guy that fired. So I have three options. It can either be success or you can cancel it. And then let's show the cancel, and I'll show that it's going to redirect to this index action, retain the view. But first, let's finish this one. So what happens here basically is this. Now, we have a subscription view model. So I'm using MVVM pattern. So var subscription view model. And then I have var subscription, the object. So I'm going to say, let's go to subscriptions table. Now we're going to order by descending. That means the last one. If we go back to this guy, we're going to look at the last one. Amen. Disappear. So yeah, we're going to start from the bottom going up. And there's a reason for that. So let's go and check a created on, right? No, actually, we're going to filter by create on. So we're going to start from the bottom. That means, not necessarily the bottom. I don't know if this thing is, no, based on this guy, the most recent one. No, it's not going to start from the bottom. It's going to filter by create on, like the most recent one. Okay. And then first or default, and then we're going to check the user ID who owns one of the businesses that, you know, is part of the subscription, or subscription is part of the subscription for one of the businesses that they own. If this guy returns as null, the subscription view model is going to be null. And then we're going to show this, what you just saw. It looks like you do not have any active subscription. And then we're going to return the view, injecting this guy, it's nullable. And then this one, it should, oh yes, it's going to get in here and then return. This guy doesn't execute. It doesn't execute, but I want to show how this guy gets to be triggered. I'm going to show how it gets to be triggered, this one. And then why do I have the view model, subscription view model? So this is the index. So if it's a success, you know, it will show the corresponding view where it says the payment that you made was successful. We tested this thing out, it works successfully. And then cancel, I can do this one where it can show the payment that you attempted to make was cancelled. So let's do this one quickly so you can see how it gets to be triggered. So if I click cancel, this cancel, yes, canceling your transaction, wait for it, check what it does. You're gonna be redirected. Give it a second, give it a second, come on, there we go, boom, it goes back to my website. And then this is the thing I was reading. The payment that you attempted to make was cancelled, and then you see it went to cancel page or cancel action method, and it says, unfortunately the process of the payment was cancelled, however you can still try again. So I provided the button again, maybe they made a mistake, and then I'm like, no, you did not pay. So yeah, so now you understand. So there's also a success that will show the appropriate message. So that's the subscription page. Okay, so but I'm still gonna come to this one and show of the account that already has a subscription but that has expired. In fact, let's do that right now. Let's log in with that account. I believe it's, wait, test 2. Before we save, let's see if it's correct. Yes, it's correct. Save. There we go. No, but test 2 has, wait, and that was a test 2. Do I have a test 5? See, all of them, they have expired for some reason. Save, that means the credentials were correct. I have another user called Monade. Let's see if I still remember the password for Monade. No, it failed. Okay, but in a nutshell, because since I can't show that, so basically it will skip this guy if he found something, right? We know that, right? And it will say days ago. I have a method days ago, that give it until it will show me how long ago, and then it will use. I will build up my view model to say this is when you added, you created, you activate your subscription. This is it expired until. Oh, this when it was due to expire, and this is a number of days ago, and I show that it looks like your previous subscription expired. So this is an interesting thing that I did, and I loved it. Okay, so I think I'm done with subscription, never coming back to this guy. So yeah, this is a show toast error message, you know that. So this is the guy for showing how long ago. Okay, so we are done here. Then let's talk about the administrator. Administrator is able to add a subscription. Let me go to the first page. Now for this business, these are the business IDs. This is active until this when it was created on. This is if it's true or not. So after the payment has been made, because when you make a payment, you will reference your business number, because every business has a business number. Let me come to one of the tasks and then show businesses, and then show what I'm talking about. You know what, to be honest, I love this. I don't want to lie, I love this. Although I'm still authenticated, but it still wants me to re-authenticate myself. No, I really love it. I don't know, is it something to do with the session timeout or something? But I really love the flexibility. I love that. It's other people are gonna complain, but for me, I think it's a cool thing, because I wasn't aware of this. It does this internet call. So these are all the businesses that when you pay me, you're gonna use business number, this guy as a reference because it's unique. This guy, then I will know which business. So in this case, let's see. Oh, like I said, I'll do this thing extensively. Let me do example for this guy. Hazelnuts, Rambo's Tech World. If I change the state for this guy to be offline, because when your subscription ends, this guy becomes false. When your subscription ends after 30 days, I do have the code. I'll do that on, let's do that tomorrow. Yeah, let's do that tomorrow. When your subscription ends, everything is on the login, where we have to go back. Come on, where we have to go back to subscriptions. Is subscription active? It's not just this part, we covered that part. It's not this part also, there is this part, this one. And then after that, we're making a business to be offline. This is where we're turning the business to be offline. So this way I actually get the business to be offline. See, it's online. This way I make it offline. So there is a code that does that, all the magic, and then it sends messages to you, email and then via SMS. But we'll cover this some other time. But for now, I'm manually gonna do this for this Hazel, because I need one of the business to let's use Jennifer Text World. Yes, let's click on that guy. I'm gonna make it offline, so we know it's Jennifer's Tech World, and then the business number is G3HV. So let me go and edit, but I'm still gonna do business, everything about business, how all of this was put together and everything. Okay, with the toggle of this guy off, and by the way, when I do this, it triggers SMS to be sent out in emails. This guy, I'm expecting success. There we go, succeeded. You have edited Jennifer's Tech World demo. We can take a look at that, page 2. There we go. Now you know it's false. So as administrator, let's say YouTube YouTube user owns a Jennifer's Tech World, right? And then we know that it's offline, that people cannot search it on the mobile application. And then what happens is that now I can then say, let me add a new one, a new record as administrator. So currently, how many they are? They are 15 items. We saw that 15 items. Okay, let's go back so that we can see that. Another thing that maybe you could be perhaps paying attention to is the controller name subscriptions. I meant to show that there are 15 items. Let me show you something while I'm still here. Yes, this one's called subscription because I do have subscriptions for the administrator. General subscriptions. That's the one I'm tempering. This is administrative stuff. Okay, so trust me, I'm enjoying this video. 15 items because I enjoy building this part of the system. It's a big system, it's a complex one, but so the only thing I need is to start the business. And look, wait, now there's a bug. Jennifer's Tech World is supposed to be one of the business that shows up here. The question is now, why is it not showing up? Jennifer's Tech World, it's one of the business that's supposed to show up here. So why is it not showing up? Because I see JJITC, so let's trace it, JJITC. Here's a JJITC. But JJ is online, so there is an actual bug. JJ is online and it's not deleted, yes. So is Jennifer. Jennifer is not online and then it's not deleted. Because this is the problem of manually doing things. Refresh. Oh, by the way, yes, I put this guy. If anything is weird, I just click the guy, it will refresh everything. So what's the difference between this? Okay, this one of new name we can justify to say, but it is offline though, right? Because it is the one of the business that shows up, new name, because I was just testing it out, G9B8. So why is 3X4W showing up on the list? Refresh. So there we go. I told you there are gonna be bugs, that we're gonna be identifying because it's weird. It's not supposed to be doing that, unless wait. Let's do this. Let's be smart. Not you. Stop. Damn it. Let's go back. Let's trace a business number. Because there could be a justification. Let's go back to Jennifer. We need the business ID 62AF, right? 62AF. So do we have a 62AF here? There we go. It is active because look at it. Here it is. It is active. If I click this guy, now we can edit, right? Yes, we can edit, but why is this guy going to? Okay, I just identify another bug. It's fine. I can edit. Let's make it not active, but I won't be able to change this. Oh no, I can. Okay, it's not active. So let's say March, and then save, and then let's double check 62AF. So this is disappear. You have edited. And by the way, I've tested my entire CRUD functionality. Yes. So now we know that it's false, right? So we do not have 62AF again at the top. Let's just make sure. Don't click, because these things are clickable. Okay, go back. Sorry, I didn't mean to click, because this control, this is Syncfusion control. Please check the previous video where I'm talking about Syncfusion. It's an external service that I've used. Okay, because if I click, then I program it to be, clickable, the row to be clickable. Okay, so we don't have a 62AF except for this one that we know that we just changed it to from August to March, and then it's false. Let's check page 2, 62AF, and we do have another 62AF. Yes, because you can have multiple, but they need to be false. You can have multiple subscription, but they need to be false. So this is from last year. I hope it makes sense. So let's say this was the first one, okay, the first subscription for Jennifer. Now for this YouTube user, right, owning Jennifer's Tech World, this business. So they have activated subscription twice already. This was the first time, because we can see the record here it is, and it's false. So I cannot tamper with the old record. The new record, assuming let's say is this one, yes, was added, let's just say 1 January, and then because I tampered this manually as you saw, but I'm not supposed to do that. So let's say this is the second one, but we need to add the third one. So there's still 15 items. Now let's go and say add. Let's see what's going to happen. You see, I know my system. It's not a bug. I cannot add a subscription on top of an active subscription. Any trace of Jennifer's Tech World has to be inactive. I hope it makes sense. Now let's go and check the code behind the scenes. How do we inject the guy? So let's go back to our controller. See, I'm the only one who's authenticated. Okay. Global variables. This guy just returns the control, Syncfusion control. Info we know we are editing. I don't care about that. Add. You see, populated the add view with this. Populating that guy. This is add because we are on the add page. Populating with these. We did this on video number 20 for register. Now you should understand how I program and return the view. If there's any issue, we handle the issue, and well, we populate, show the error, return the view. So, but the one, yes, no, I don't care about this because we're talking about get. This is the guy that I'm interested in. So let me quickly navigate to that one. Populate the add with this. So there it is. So basically, we're gonna go to external class called utilities, get businesses, select list item. So now we know, right? Cool. So I wanna go to this method. The other day I tried to navigate and then it stuck. But let me try to navigate. I hope it's not gonna stuck Visual Studio. And then I've been clicking that. It doesn't want to do that. I don't know why. Right click. See, when it does this, it becomes problematic. Okay. I say let's go to definition. I've been clicking F12. There we go. So here we're returning a list. So obviously select list item, but I'm more interested in getting the businesses. So we're gonna return this guy obviously, and this should be var, not list. Yeah, but it's fine. So I'm gonna say businesses underscore list, and I know it's a to list because it returns a to list. And I don't know why it's not asynchronous, because I try to get this thing to be asynchronous. It's acting up weird. Okay, so we're gonna say go to businesses, where is deleted false. Number one, give me all the businesses that are not deleted. Cool. And then we're gonna start by adding the first item on the select list, which is select business on that's a text on the position number 0, which is the default one, which is what you see there, select business. And then I'm gonna populate to say now we're gonna look through to all the businesses that are not deleted. First, we need to go to subscription. So we're gonna go to subscription. We're gonna find a specific one first, or default, whose value is active. It needs to be active, and then the business ID has to match the business ID of the one that's not been deleted. So give me all of them, put them here. Oh, give me just one. Remember, I'm looping, right? Give me one. If this guy it's null, if it's null, let me see if I'm not losing myself. This is a list of all the businesses that are not deleted, and then we are looping inside after preparing what's gonna show up on the drop down for the user. And then we need to loop inside all those businesses from the list. And then we're gonna say for subscription, you're gonna go and get a very specific subscription that is still active, and then that the business ID should match the one of this business. And then if it's null, get inside. If it's not null, skip it. But if it's null, right, that means we did not find it. That means this guy is false. Yes. Any of these conditions are perfect. If the ID doesn't match this guy, that means it's false. That means this guy is going to return null, and it's going to get it inside. And then that specific item, that specific business, we're going to get the business name, and then we're going to use string interpolation. We're going to get the business number, and then that's what we see here. Business name, string interpolation, business number in the parentheses. Good. And then we're gonna place the value there, because it's gonna be business ID behind the scenes. Because in this case, what we did with Jennifer is false. Remember, we are looping. We got Jennifer. It's one of the business that's not deleted. Yes, it's one of the business. So currently we are on that business, the one of Jennifer, and we realized that the subscription for it's actually false, that it's not active because we did that intentionally. And then what happens is that this guy's gonna return false. So this is gonna be null, and then that's what happens. And then I'm gonna return that list of the business. Only those have been added because I need to add them. So that's when how we were able to see Jennifer on this list. I hope it makes sense, because I took time to explain that, because I took time to build that part. Cool. So it's not about the bug or anything. So now like we said, okay, the business it's offline, blah blah blah, and all that, blah blah blah. So this is Jennifer, and then I just say save, and then I activate the subscription for this person. But remember, here I'm just simulating it. Oh boy, it's fine. So is it a success? There we go. No, not logged in. Okay, let's do it again. Jennifer. So what's gonna happen when we successfully edit? That's gonna be a very good question. Oh, that is a very good question, but that's gonna be interesting. There we go. Succeeded. You have added subscription for, you see, 62AF. And then how many values do we have in here? It should be 16. There we go. 16. Can I search based on 62AF? Did I program to? No, but I know you can search with false. If I do false, do I need to click enter? Yes, it can filter the record. What about 62AF. No, because I did not tell it to do it with, maybe I should go back and say you should filter with this guy. But nevertheless, yeah, but let's do true. Let's filter the results with true. Let's see 62AF. You see it's only one page. There is 62AF. It was added 29 June 2021, 11:18, and that's 11:19 right now, until Thursday, July 29th, 11:18:34. There we go, and it's active. And then there should be some SMS being sent out, you know, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. So what does it mean for this guy? What happens when we refresh? Nothing. Oh, we meant to check something. I'll come into that one. So we are saying, let's go to add. Can we still see Jennifer's tech world? No. There we go. It disappeared. Because the state now it's active, which is true. It disappeared. So there's a good way of programming. So Jennifer, let's go to page 2. Didn't I do this guy to automatically do it? So the subscription is active, but I'm wondering if, why didn't I program it to automatically do that? So yes, this is the last thing. I know you're tired. Trust me, I am tired, but I'm not tired. I'm excited. So when we add, aren't you supposed to? Yes, we add in the subscription that I know. We notify the client. Okay, but why am I doing it manually? Because if it notifies the client, it's just gonna send the messages afterwards. And I'm gonna find the business, because we're not doing anything to change the state. Yeah, no, this is what I call a bug, because it's gonna be a manual because it's, wait, we have exciting news about your subscription that is now active for business. Yes, it will continue to be online, to be discoverable by your customers. The subscription will end, blah, blah. So this message is for, okay, what about businesses? What happens when I change the state from being offline to now being online? So we need to go to edit, the one of post. Like I said, we still want to cover this thing. I just want to check something quickly. Because here I'm using AutoMapper here. I wonder what exactly am I doing. Yeah, because I feel like I need to go back and then rework this thing, because then I will have to manually do this, of which I don't want to do that. What if I forget? Because I'm not a machine, I'm not an AI. That's why we are programmers. I can't just activate a subscription and go and write an email to say, hey, after email, and write SMS and say, hey, your subscription. That's why we have become programmers. But why do I still have to do this manually? Because I can forget. I almost forgot that is how I build it. It's fine. Or maybe, because if I set to be true, I know it's going to notify, because you can see with the code, one way or the other, it's going to notify the client. One way or the other. Here it is, notify the client. So let's take a look at that. Yes, notify the client. And then sending them actual messages. And then it's going to say what? We have a new exciting news about your business. that was added by you, has been made online to be discoverable. Okay, so here we can talk about what this controller can, this controller, when after it notifies, can it call this guy? Like, that's why I need to create some sort of like a method that can be called by this controller, because this controller cannot call this controller. Can it? Can it get in here, edit? Can it pass entire? Because I don't want to pass entire object. I want to pass something that's only meant to just toggle the state of being offline to being online. Then that's it. I don't want to do anything else. Now this is going to be exciting because we need to automate stuff like this. Stay tuned for this. I'm still going to do extensive video before we get to mobile application, because you need to understand how do these businesses end up being online. So okay, but let's do this manually so we can finish. It's going to notify this person, yes, it's online, and then save. I'm the one that designed it this way. I'll get to this. I designed this way so I can have a control over it. Because I'm the administrator. So Jennifer has been, let's see again, and now it's online. Cool. This is it. I didn't plan I didn't plan to tamper with the businesses. I knew I was gonna touch a bit on subscriptions, but it all started here. What happens to this person when they're first timers? But there's more to this. So I need to do login first, because there's where this guy is going to be granted a partial access to add the actual business. So it's something that we need to do. Yeah. Now, for now, I'm done. This is something that's exciting. It excites me, like, because I built this all by myself. I had fun doing this, you know. And then version control can prove it. What did I do when, you know? And then I was keeping things small, you know. I was focused on one thing only. I wasn't doing all these things, you know. I wasn't complicating my life, you know. So version control came through for me. With that being said, thank you very much. I hope this has been informative. I enjoyed this video because of what I did. Okay.